The land here is ancient and vast. It is a canvas painted in brilliant, unforgiving light. The Florida sun rises slowly, a great orb of molten gold spilling its heat across the flat plains. It touches the sawgrass, turning each blade into a sliver of fire. The air begins to shimmer almost immediately, a visible wave of warmth that distorts the horizon. Life here has always been a negotiation with the sun. It dictates the rhythm of the day, forcing creatures great and small to seek shelter or adapt to its powerful, relentless gaze. The silence is profound, broken only by the hum of insects or the distant cry of a hawk circling high above. This is a place of stark contrasts. The wetlands, cool and dark, hold secrets in their murky depths. Alligators, ancient reptiles, lie motionless like logs, their eyes just above the water's surface. They are masters of patience, waiting for the world to come to them. Herons stand with an almost statuesque stillness, their long legs rooted in the shallows. They are a study in concentration, a single, focused point in a sprawling, indifferent landscape. The beauty is overwhelming, a wild and untamed spectacle. But this beauty carries with it a quiet warning. Survival here is not given. It is earned with every sunrise. The wind offers little relief. It is a warm breath that moves across the land, carrying the scent of salt and damp earth. It rustles the fronds of the cabbage palms, creating a sound like a slow, rhythmic whisper. This is the voice of the landscape, a constant, murmuring presence. It speaks of endurance, of the slow passage of time. For the wildlife that calls this place home, this wind is a familiar companion. It brings news of changing weather, of the approach of rain, or of the deeper, more profound stillness that falls before a storm. Every living thing listens intently. And yet, within this grand theater of nature, another story unfolds. It is a human story, often lived in the periphery, just out of sight. It is a life lived in the same sun, under the same vast sky. Here, the line between the untamed wilderness and the edges of human settlement blurs. The same elements that shape the lives of the ibis and the manatee also shape the lives of people who have no walls to shield them from the world. Their struggle is a quiet one, a testament to resilience in a place that demands it from all its inhabitants. If you're interested in more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Join us as we continue to explore the unseen sides of Florida and beyond. Your support helps us share these important stories. In the cities that rise abruptly from the flatlands, the sun is no less dominant. It beats down on the concrete and asphalt, turning the streets into a furnace. The heat radiates upwards, creating an environment as harsh as any desert. Here, shade is a precious commodity, a temporary kingdom sought beneath the awnings of shuttered shops or the sparse canopy of a city park's palm trees. The shadows move with the sun, a slow, creeping retreat that forces a constant migration. For those who live on these streets, the day is a long, slow dance with the light, a search for a small patch of coolness. We find a man named Michael. His face is a map of his journey, etched by the sun and the wind. He sits on a bench, his belongings contained in a single, worn backpack. He tells us that the heat is a physical weight. It presses down, making it hard to breathe, hard to think. He moves through the city like the wildlife of the plains, following the shadows. From the overhang of a bus station in the morning to the shade of a library wall in the afternoon. Each location is a temporary oasis, a brief respite before the sun forces him to move on again. The sounds of the city are a constant, chaotic symphony. The roar of traffic, the distant wail of a siren, the murmur of crowds. But for someone like Michael, there are other, more intimate sounds. The crinkle of a plastic water bottle, a lifeline in the oppressive warmth. The sigh of his own breath in the quiet moments between the city's noises. He says he listens for the subtle shift in the wind that might signal the coming of a sea breeze, a small mercy that makes the afternoon bearable. These are the sensory details that define his world. Hope, he explains, is a fleeting thing. It can be found in the kindness of a stranger offering a cold drink, or the discovery of a shaded alcove that will last for a few hours. It is not a grand vision of the future, but a small, immediate flicker of relief. It is the simple, profound joy of feeling a cool breeze on his skin, a reminder that even in the most relentless heat, there are moments of grace. His story is not one of despair, but of a quiet, determined endurance against the elements, a day-by-day survival. The landscape itself seems to hold a deep thirst. The earth cracks under the sun, and the wetlands shrink in the dry season. This physical craving for water is mirrored in the human stories we encounter. Addiction is a powerful current that runs through the lives of many on the streets. It is a thirst that is never quenched, a constant gnawing need that overshadows even the body's demand for water against the heat. It is an inner drought, a spiritual desolation that can be far more dangerous than the physical environment. It isolates, it consumes, and it pulls individuals deeper into the shadows. We meet a woman, Elena. Her hands tremble as she speaks. She does not look at us directly, her gaze fixed on some distant point beyond the shimmering pavement. She talks about her addiction not as a choice, but as a predator. It stalks her through the long, hot days and the lonely nights. It whispers promises of escape, of a momentary numbing of the pain and the heat and the hunger. She describes the relentless cycle, the desperate search, the fleeting relief, and the crushing weight of shame that follows. Her struggle is a solitary one, fought within the confines of her own mind. Elena's world has shrunk. It is defined by the need to satisfy her addiction. The majestic beauty of the Florida coast, the cry of the gulls, the endless blue of the ocean, these things are a distant backdrop to her immediate, urgent reality. The sun is not a source of life, but an antagonist that saps her strength, making the craving more intense. Her senses, which should connect her to the world, are instead turned inward, focused on the storm raging within her. The quiet hum of the city becomes a source of paranoia, the rustle of leaves a potential threat. Yet even here, in this profound struggle, there are moments of clarity. Elena speaks of watching the sunset, a brief time when the world seems to pause. The sky ignites in colors of orange and purple, and for a moment, the inner noise subsides. She describes it as a time when she can almost remember who she was before the addiction took hold. It is a fragile connection to a different self, a flicker of a person she hopes to be again. This fleeting peace is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, its ability to find a glimmer of beauty even in the deepest darkness. The city at night is a different world. The oppressive heat of the day slowly bleeds from the concrete, but a new kind of harshness emerges. The vast, open spaces of the day become a labyrinth of dark alleys and hidden corners. The sounds change. The roar of traffic subsides, replaced by a more intimate soundscape. The hum of air conditioners, the distant clatter of a train, the lonely echo of footsteps on an empty sidewalk. For those without a home, the night does not bring rest. It brings a heightened state of awareness, a need for vigilance. Every shadow can hide a threat. We follow a young man who calls himself Jay. He moves with a purposefulness that belies his lack of destination. He knows the city's nocturnal rhythms, the places to avoid, the brief windows of safety. He explains that sleep is a luxury he can rarely afford. He sleeps in short bursts, always with one ear open, listening for the approach of others, for the sound of a car slowing down. The night is a long, slow watch. The ambient music of the city, the gentle lapping of water against a nearby pier, the rustling of rats in a dumpster, is his alarm system. Jay's story is one of invisibility. During the day, he tries to blend in, to become just another face in the crowd. But at night, he becomes a ghost. He seeks out the places where he will not be seen, where he will not be bothered. A loading dock behind a supermarket, a secluded bench in a park closed to the public. He speaks of the profound loneliness of the night, of being surrounded by a sleeping city that is completely unaware of his existence. He is a solitary creature, navigating a concrete wilderness, his senses as sharp as any animal's. Hope, for Jay, is the sunrise. It is not the warmth it brings, but the light. The light that chases away the deepest shadows and the fears that come with them. The dawn brings the return of the city's noise, the comforting anonymity of the morning rush. It means he has made it through another night. He describes the first rays of sun hitting the glass of the skyscrapers as a kind of silent promise. It is a promise of survival, a signal that he has been granted one more day. His resilience is a quiet, stubborn refusal to be erased by the darkness. The weather in this land is a powerful force, capable of dramatic and sudden change. The clear blue sky can swiftly turn a dark, bruised purple. The air grows heavy and still. The first distant rumble of thunder is a low, guttural warning that travels across the flatlands. For most, it is a signal to seek shelter, to watch the storm from the safety of a home. But for those on the streets, it is an imminent threat. The wind picks up, no longer a gentle breeze, but a violent force that tears at everything in its path. The first drops of rain are enormous, splattering against the hot pavement. Michael, whom we met earlier, finds what little shelter he can under a bridge. The sound of the rain is deafening, a relentless drumming on the concrete above him. The wind howls through the underpass, carrying a fine mist that soaks him to the bone. He is not alone. Others have sought refuge here, a small, silent community brought together by the storm. They huddle together, their faces illuminated by the stark, momentary flashes of lightning. In these moments, there is a shared vulnerability, a silent understanding that transcends individual stories. They are all simply trying to weather the storm. The storm is a sensory overload. The smell of the rain on the hot asphalt, the bone-chilling cold that seeps into his clothes, the concussive boom of thunder that seems to shake the very ground beneath him. Michael tells us that in these moments, there is nothing else. No past, no future. Only the immediate, overwhelming present. The fight is to stay dry, to stay warm, to endure. The natural world in its full, untamed fury erases all other concerns. It is a raw and primal struggle for survival, a reminder of how exposed he is. And then, as quickly as it began, the storm passes. The rain softens to a drizzle and then stops. The wind dies down. A sliver of light appears on the horizon, and the sky begins to clear. A profound quiet descends, broken only by the dripping of water from the bridge. A sense of calm follows the chaos. The air is clean and cool. For Michael and the others, this is a moment of profound relief. They have survived. The storm has passed, and in its wake, there is a renewed, if temporary, sense of peace. The world feels washed clean. The sun sets over the Gulf of Mexico. It is a final, breathtaking display of color, a slow descent into the sea. The water reflects the fiery sky, creating a seamless blend of light and water. The waves are gentle, a soft, rhythmic shushing against the white sand. Gulls drift lazily on the breeze, their calls echoing in the quiet air. This is the image of Florida that draws millions, a picture of paradise. It is a place of immense beauty and tranquility, a place where the world seems to be at peace with itself. For those who live at the margins, this beauty can be both a comfort and a cruel irony. We see Elena again, sitting on the beach, watching the last sliver of sun disappear. The vibrant colors of the sunset are a stark contrast to the grayness that often fills her days. She says that this is her church, a place where she can feel something bigger than herself, bigger than her addiction. The vastness of the ocean makes her own struggles feel small, manageable. It is a moment of perspective, a brief connection to the natural world that asks nothing of her. As darkness falls, the beach empties. The sounds of the day are replaced by the timeless sound of the surf. This rhythm is constant, eternal. It has been here long before the cities were built, and it will be here long after. It is a sound of permanence in a life defined by transience. For people like Jay and Michael, it can be a source of solace, a reminder that some things endure. The resilience of the human spirit is much like this tide. It may recede, but it always returns, a quiet, persistent force against the shore of hardship. Their stories are woven into the fabric of this land. They are as much a part of the Florida landscape as the sun, the storms, and the sea. They are the unseen inhabitants of this paradise, their lives a quiet testament to the will to survive. Their hope is not always for a different future, but for the strength to face another day, to find a moment of peace in the sunset, to feel the cool breeze after a storm. It is a quiet, profound resilience, a life lived where the horizon of hope meets the vast, indifferent sea, a struggle unseen but never truly absent.